Unit 3. Development of the 4 basic linguistic skills. Oral and written comprehension and oral and written production. Communicative. Competence in English, 0. Introduction in primary education. The systematic development of the 5 core linguistic skills list. Speaking, reading, writing, and mediation is essential to language acquisition and effective communication. These skills foster comprehension, self-expression, and interaction in authentic contexts. Listening allows pupils to process spoken language. Speaking encourages active participation. Reading enables independent understanding of written texts, and writing supports the creation of coherent written discourse. Mediation facilitates comprehension across linguistic and cultural boundaries. From an early age, pupils must be guided toward communicative competence, the ability to use language appropriately in different social contexts, adapting to cultural nuances. This emphasis is rooted in Organic Law to 2006 SLU, as amended by Organic Law 3 2020, Royal Decree 157 2020 seconds, and for the region of Decree 209 2020 seconds. Language learning is an integrative process. Skills are developed in combination. Mirroring real-life communication. This unit draws on key references such as Ellis and Brewster 2002, Harmer 2015, Rost 2019, Richards 2015, and others, structuring the discussion into oral communication, listening, and speaking. Written communication, reading, and writing. Communicative competence. In English 1. Development of oral communication. 1.1. Listening comprehension. Listening skills are central to communicative competence. They require understanding sound production, stress patterns, and intonation. Instructional strategies include explicit explanation, visual support, and extensive exposure to varied input. Teachers serve as language models, but should supplement their speech with authentic materials, songs, rhymes, games, stories, podcasts, and interaction with native speakers. In the first 2 years of primary education, oral skills take precedence. In line with Decree 209 2020 seconds, Arts. 12. Effective listening instruction requires clear purpose for each activity, varied input sources, gradual development of microskills, identifying main ideas, detecting details, confirming predictions, inferring attitudes, phonemic awareness through minimal pairs. Listening activities should be planned with attention to visibility, time, student proficiency, and necessary equipment. Richards 2015 and Ross 2019 classify activities into pre-listening, build context, and set goals. For example, predicting from pictures, brainstorming, reviewing key vocabulary, while listening, engage with the text. For example, matching, sequencing, note-taking, answering, comprehension questions, post-listening, extend learning, for example, summarizing, problem-solving, role-plays, dictations, inclusive education principles, LOMLO art. Example, learning situations, interactive story maps. Pupils listen to a story and draw a map of described locations, character voices, identify characters' emotions from tone, then create their own dialogues. 1.2. Speaking production. Speaking should emerge after sufficient input, respecting the silent period. Initial activities are short, predictable, and often formulaic greetings, classroom language, social expressions. Motivation is key. Early success builds engagement. Harmer 2015 identifies 3 stages. Presentation. Introduce new language in meaningful context. Correct misconceptions. Practice controlled or guided activities, preferably in pairs groups, to maximize speaking time. Production. Freer tasks, where students use the language creatively. Teacher intervention is minimal. Activities include games, role plays, information gaps, discussions, and mediation tasks. Linguistic mediation asks, per CEFR and Mercia's curriculum encourages pupils to bridge understanding between speakers. For example, translating a recipe, interpreting event, announcements, explaining game rules. Diversity measures are vital for pupils with speech or language impairments. Visual aids. Simplified input, repeated practice, technology integration, peer support, and collaboration with specialists. Speaking tasks. Link 2. Specific competence. 2. Produce simple, structured, comprehensible oral texts. Specific competence. 3. Interact using everyday expressions. Specific competence. 4. Mediate in predictable situations. 2. Development of written communication 2.1. Reading comprehension. Early reading focuses on word recognition, often through games, labeling, and matching activities based on oral vocabulary. Pupils should understand that comprehension does not require knowing every word. Strategies such as skimming general gist and scanning specific details are key. Reading is transversal in the Curriculum Decree 209, 2022, Art 14, and the same strategies used in listening can apply. Typical tasks: reading to confirm expectations, predicting from titles, images, reading for specific information, locating answers to targeted questions, reading for general understanding, identifying main ideas. Example learning situations. Reading a letter to find escape room clues, corresponding with pen pals, for example, through Erasmus+. Reading role-play instructions. 2.2. Writing production. Writing develops from familiarity with forms to independent composition. Reading provides models for structure, vocabulary, and style. Swales and Feek 2012 identify 5 writing skills: graphic skills, handwriting, copying, dictations, grammatical skills, sentence building, grammar exercises, stylistic skills, descriptive writing, rhetorical skills, responding to prompts, organizational skills, storyboarding, summarizing. A product-based approach is suggested. Familiarization, copying, formulaic phrases, controlled writing, teacher-provided models, guided writing. Use of models with greater freedom. Free writing. Minimal teacher intervention. Example, learning situations, writing an email to an imaginary friend describing local traditions, keeping a personal diary, creating a tourist brochure, writing a fictional story for pupils with dyslexia, dysgraphia, dysorthographia. Resolution: the 30th of July, 2019. Oral assessment should be prioritized when appropriate. 3. Communicative competence. In English, the concept. Introduced by Delheims, 1972, and developed by Canali and Swain, 1980. Integrates linguistic knowledge with social and cultural appropriateness. Components include grammatical competence, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, lexis, sociolinguistic competence, cultural norms and conventions, discourse, competence, cohesion and coherence across texts, strategic competence, compensatory communication strategies, socio-cultural competence, intercultural knowledge and adaptability. Classroom approaches to develop communicative competence. Oral conversations. Pair. Group work reduces anxiety and increases practice opportunities. Krashen, 1981. Literature, authentic input via stories, poems, films, adapted to level, simulation, roleplay. Practice in realistic, contextualized scenarios. Technology, integration. Presentations, online exchanges, multimedia input, in line with Universal Design for Learning LOMLO Art. 4.3, Decree 209, 2022 Art. 23, activities must be adapted to learners' needs, levels, and profiles. Conclusion, the mastery of listening, speaking, reading, writing, and mediation in English requires contextualized, meaningful, and inclusive teaching. Skills should be integrated rather than isolated, reflecting real-life language use. Cultural awareness is inseparable from language learning. It fosters intercultural understanding and enriches communicative competence. Fully aligned with the CREED 209 2022 and current European educational priorities. As Dr. Emily Turner observed, cultural awareness is fundamental to language learning. It enhances the experience and fosters intercultural understanding.